Alright, lesson 6.2, Parallelogram Notes. So we're going to do these problems here in just a second, but the first thing I want to do is I want to talk to you about what are the different characteristics of parallelograms, okay? So first of all, one of the things we do, this is the symbol for parallelogram. It looks kind of like the state of Tennessee. So parallelograms, characteristics. Opposite sides are congruent or equal. Opposite angles are congruent or equal. Opposite sides are parallel. Consecutive angles equal 180. So these are the characteristics of parallelograms. The last one has to do with diagonals, so we'll look at a picture with this. But diagonals bisect each other. So it's important you know these characteristics because without them you can't do the problems. So I'll give you a minute to kind of write those down. You may want to pause the video to do that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come back over here and do these problems. So let me erase all that stuff. Okay. So let's take the first one. It says find the measurement of the indicated in each parallelogram. So this one has to do with consecutive angles. Those are consecutive. Remember we did consecutive interior, alternate interior, all those. So in this case, 116 plus question mark has to equal 180. So we subtract 116 from both sides, and that gives us 64 degrees. Okay. The next one. These are opposite angles. So we said opposite angles are congruent or equal. So 79 equals 40x minus 1. So we add 1 to both sides. Get 80 is 40x. Divide by 40. And that gives us 2 is x. Alright, the next one. Okay, so here we have again consecutive angles. They're right beside each other. So again, our relationship here is those two have to add to equal 180. So 4x and 12x would give me 16x. 1 and 3 would be 4. Subtract 4 from both sides. So 16x is 176. Divide by 16. And that gives me x is 11. Now, it says find the measure of angle T. Well, I don't have anything for angle T down here, but what I do know is angle T is the same as angle R because they're opposite angles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 11 and I'm going to plug it into this expression for R because R and T are the same. So 4 times 11 plus 1. 4 times 11 is 44 plus 1 would be 45. So angle T is 45 degrees. Okay, let's go to this one. This one has to do with sides. So what did we say? We said opposite sides are congruent. So there, question mark would be 7. Alright, one more here. So again, we have opposite sides. So here, those two have to equal. So 18 equals 3x minus 6. That's 6. So it's 24 is 3x. Divide by 3. So then we get x is 8. Alright, now let's go to the next page. So continuing on. It says find the measurement. So here we're finding the measure of the side. Again, we're using opposite sides. So we know opposite sides are congruent or equal. Just going to set those equal. Minus x gives you x minus 6, add 6. gives you 12 as x. Now, here we have to find BC. So BC is this one right here, so I'm going to plug that in. So I'm going to write this in blue, so 2 times x is 12 minus 6, so that would be 24 minus 6, which would be 18. Now, a good way to check and make sure that's correct, go ahead and plug that into the other side. What's 12 plus 6? Well, it's 18, so yes, that's correct. All right, now we start dealing with diagonals. So all a diagonal is a segment that goes from one corner of the parallelogram to the other. So it says here AR is 21, and then it gives me TR. TR is the whole thing, which is 7x minus 7. So we said diagonals bisect each other. In other words, if AR is 21, then that means AT is also 21. So how do we set up our equation here? Remember, small and small equal, but two smalls equal a big. So in this case, 21 plus 21 has to equal the big, which is 7x minus 7. So that gives me 42 is 7x minus 7. Add 7. That's going to give me 49 is 7x. Divide by 7. And that's going to tell me 7 equals x. Alright, what about this next one? So we have a diagonal. Now here, what we know are diagonals bisect each other, but it also creates, I want to draw over here to the side, if opposite sides are parallel and I draw this diagonal, these become alternate interior angles, which means they are congruent, so that's 32. Plus I know opposite angles are congruent, so where 115 is right here, this angle also is 115. I'm going to write 115 here. Now, what I have, I'm going to take out this triangle, which is right here. Now, why am I going to use this triangle? Because in a triangle, what do we know about all the angles? They have to equal 180. So if I take 32 plus 115 plus 6x minus 3, all that has to equal 180. So I combine like terms. 32 and 115 would be 147, minus 3 would be 144. Subtract 144. So it gives me 6x, I'm going to write it up here, equals 36, divide by 6, and we get x is 6. So quite a bit of stuff in this lesson to know characteristics of a parallelogram and how to set up your equations and stuff to solve.